Hello and welcome, my friends. Welcome to Saturday. Welcome to the full wolf moon. Well, this is the first full moon we've had in 2025. And of course, we always kick off with the wolf moon. This is a moon that was named after how historically, and in some places now, still presently, you can really hear the howl of the wolf. Beings in January with that cold, the howl echoed and could be heard for miles around. So we have this full wolf moon. Our ancestors named this very cold, very long moon on that howl, that call of the wolf. Now this year, the full wolf moon rises in Cancer, that very emotional water sign. Now, normally that's not going to be a big deal. However, when you take that step back, you realize that Mars is in retrograde. So we have that emotion with that aggression. So this moon is going to be rising in some very fluctuating emotion, if you will, which is not a bad thing. Knowing about it will help you to get the tools you need to be successful and use this time to your advantage. Additionally, this is also hitting right in the middle of January, or close to the middle of January, and the January blues can start to sneak up on people. It's going to be important to be very truthful, not aggressive, but truthful to self. If you know that the January blues is something historically you've been struggling with, please make sure that you use your tools and your supports as you need so that it doesn't get overwhelming. All right, so now that that's out of the way, we're dealing with the wolf moon. I couldn't think of a better deck than the Northern Animal Tarot to embrace and explore this moon with. And then I have, this is the Druid Animal Oracle. Again, we're kind of in that animal kingdom energy, so let's work with it. All right, let's look at this full moon and what you guys can expect. Yes, there's that emotional aspect to it. However, that's not what the full wolf moon wants. It's not talking about that emotion. That's not its main objective. It's just a byproduct of what's happening. Additionally, we also have a comet. Now, bear with me. It's the Comet C/2024 G3 comet in brackets Atlas. So, sure, we have a comet coming in. Comets, they're great. Can be a little bit challenging for people because it does bring that movement and flux with it. So we've got a lot of outside energies impacting this one poor moon. And it's a nice moon. Like the full wolf moon is usually very helpful. The moon in reversal. That fear. The minute I said the emotional instability, the anger, the frustration, people all went, ew. We can't avoid this, and we can't avoid others. So the reversal does talk about that fear, that resistance, that let's just close the door and hide. Sure, the full wolf moon, well, like any full moon, you can feel it 2 days before and 2 days after. Okay, so those 5 days. Well, 2 out of those 5 days is the weekend, so if you don't work weekends, all right, you can maybe minimize some of that external contact. However, if you live with a family, know that they're going to be impacted too. They may not acknowledge this. They may not, ooh, the woo-woo. No. It doesn't mean that it doesn't impact them. Let's look Mercury retrograde. How many people have computer problems, stop talking properly during Mercury retrograde, whether you believe in it or not? The Ace of Wands in reversal. Like I said, the full wolf moon is more than the instability and the emotion. There is a lot of aha, new beginnings, that match being struck. However, and this is a big however, you need to be engaged, you need to be focused in on it, because if you're not, then what's going to happen is that you're going to miss it. And it's not like these opportunities, they're going to be there in different ways. It's just that you're going to have the added support of that new full moon energy of action. 10 of Wands. Now, whether or not this is something the full wolf moon wanted to work with you on, it's going to, because of all the extra pieces. That understanding and acknowledgement, whether it be consciously or subconsciously, of all that extra. We like to bring on the extra because there's always stuff to do. There's always stuff that needs to be done. You're going to feel it a lot, physically, emotionally, and in some cases spiritually. That heaviness, that burden. So it's not going to feel good in any way. Something to look at. Can be part of that aha that we were looking at, that full moon wants to work on with you. However, like I said, it can easily be that byproduct. Either way, these two can walk hand in hand in a positive way. This deck was a Kickstarter that I kickstarted years ago. Actually, I think she was trying to produce it during COVID. So that gives you a time frame here. It was the first edition of the Northern Animal Tarot. I think she's now in the fourth edition. I'm not sure. She had oracle cards because it was a Kickstarter. We do have that fear, that uncertainty. Humans, we like to see things where they're not. There's a word for it, and I can't remember it right off the top of my head. Not enough caffeine this morning. But we see the fear when it shouldn't be. It's a tree, but we see it's scary and fearful. Acknowledging what you're dealing with and opening yourself up to some really cool opportunities does not mean jumping in head first. It means opening up and looking at it is going to help you. But the fear and uncertainty and that automatic response of I'm just going to shut down, I'm going to avoid, are going to minimize the work that can and should be done. This isn't fun. Whether you're acknowledging it now or avoiding it, it's still there. And it will continue to be there until you acknowledge it. Another oracle card, it's a bulb or a seed, and we are seeing that growth. We're starting to see that those beginning stages. Acknowledgement and understanding is part of that. Can be seen as part of like stage 1. Stage 2, being open to it, being aware of it, and starting to reach out for it. The aha is going to be the important piece. It gives you that bigger picture of what am I dealing with? What does this look like for me? I would recommend that you have a pen and paper and those gut responsive of, oh my God, holy hell, what's going on? How can I do this? No. Write those down so that you can look at them at whether it be a later date or really just reflect in on how the fear impacted you. Again, that knowledge, it gives us a greater understanding. The moon is a gateway card. 10s are endings and beginnings. You have a great opportunity to shift things. And it's not change, it's shift things. Change is scary, but shifting what you're trying to achieve and being open to things, that's easier. Gateway, change. But not change that you have to be afraid of, because you're starting to look at things with a more open perspective, opened eyes, and acknowledging, not beating self up, but acknowledging, okay, you know what? I might be working a little bit harder than I should in this area. Maybe I could pick up my boots in this area. Maybe I should ask for help in this area. It's not scary, but it sounds more the word reflection is scary for us. A lot of people start to shut down. Looking at what you're trying to achieve, looking at what you're achieving, and looking at the days of the week, because depending on your situation, if you're a parent like me, what you want to achieve and what you have to bear are two separate things. And there are things that you may have to bear that no one else has to, just because of who you are in the family and your role. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means that if you're really excelling and pushing in one area, looking at how you can start to take off and make things less challenging, less scary and hard, so that you can start to have those things grow. And it's okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to give things back, especially for children. Age and development appropriate, of course. However, asking them to do things. The first thing I asked my kids to start to learn was how to put their clothes away, folded and stuff in their closets, in their drawers. So that took a big chunk of work off my plate. Caring for 2 kids, I didn't have that time. But again, it's about creativity. You don't have to make great changes. This is not about change. This is about awareness and understanding. Hair, which brings me to a point of we're going to want to act. Oh my God, I'm working too hard in this area. I've got to do something right now. No, no, you don't. Hold your horses. Use the fertility and action or energy of the hair to get a greater understanding. Okay, so if you didn't have to fold laundry because you had others helping you, what could you do with that time? What would fill that cup, that passion, make you feel stronger? Have it clear in your head before you take that hop, leap, jump. The crane, such a beautiful animal. I'm fortunate because I live in southern Alberta. There are cranes at the lake that I live by. They come in usually around end of May, beginning of June. They're beautiful. This does talk about, and you can see he's got 1 foot in the water. It does talk about that intuition. We've got the fertility, and we have that mystery unknown. Part of the reflection is also going to be intuitional, because part of these opportunities is based on feelings, based on what will fill that cup, fill you. So intuition is going to be needed. Going into those darker areas. You don't need deep dives. This is not about doing a lot of shadow, scary work. This is about awareness. Pretty much going to that cave and looking at all those pretty symbols. What do they mean to you? They're swirls. I don't think they actually have a meaning. It's just a symbol, but that's the piece. I love the fact she's got a full moon with him. We've got a crescent here, but that full moon, really paying attention to what's around you. The cow, such a stable animal, one of fertility, one of mothering. This cow, I don't remember what kind of cow it is, but it very much reminds me of that Egyptian goddess who has the head of the cow. Same energy for here. And it is about slowing down and taking that time and nurturing. Not so much nurturing others, but nurturing you and where it is you want to go. What is it that you want to see happen? Those are going to be important elements. And it's not about controlling and having your destiny all sorted out. It's just more about, okay, what's happening right now and what would be a good step forward? And part of that step is going to be open to really cool possibilities. And nothing is like big steps, jumping with leaps of faith. The ace, that's the beginning. 10, ending and beginning. And that's the thing, is that we need to really start at the beginning, start at where we're at, and look at, okay, so where am I at? And what is going to make me feel better? What is going to fuel my cup, fill it, fuel me, bring me the fertility and passion that I want? And for fertility, guys, I know everybody, you hear it and people are like, I don't want a baby. No. Fertility is about creation. Fertility can be in say, creating a solution, can be fertility in creating a new opportunity, it can be in the actual creative realm of, say, arts and crafts, your creative outlet. And creative outlet does not equal arts and crafts. It's just arts and crafts is a big umbrella of creativity. That's the big piece. That's where we need to look. That's the ace here. The 10 is talking about where we're at, what we're feeling. 2 of Cups in reverse. Like I said earlier, the emotional impact, whether your relationships, family, friends, could be partners, they're going to be impacted by this as well. Please give them the time and space that they need so that the relationship doesn't start to add extra weight. The time and space does not mean hours and hours. It just means a little bit of acknowledgement, a little bit of encouragement. And you may need to have these people support you with that 10. But again, they're going to be impacted by it, whether they acknowledge it or understand it or not. The 3 of Cups, really talking about this shouldn't be a time of fear. This should be a time of celebration, excitement, and joy. The 4 of Pentacles. I love the fact that we have 2, 3, 4 right in a row. What's the next one? Oh, death. Okay, I was like, I don't think it's a 5. It's a 15, but it is death in reversal. The 4 of Pentacles does talk about stability. It's going to be important that we are stable during this time, so remembering to breathe, huge piece. Great tools to support you with stability. Any black or red crystal helps with your root chakra and helps to keep that stability on the inside, that very stable energy that we need. The trick with the 4 of Pentacles, though, is that we want this stability. However, you have to be careful. There's a fine line, stability and confinement. Okay? You don't want to cut yourself off from everything. The 4 of Pentacles can be an easy kind of turtling is the best word, where you kind of make sure that you are protected. Yes and no. You don't want that. You want the joy and happiness. You want the connections. You don't want to be in a cocoon by yourself. You want stability, yes. Cocoonness, no. The Devil. Similar to the moon, we're looking at that lower vibrational energy. That's not part of the moon part, but the fear. That's the moon part. The Devil, of course, is our lower vibrational self that we're quite aware of. People know that part of us tries to keep us in a little box and safe, right? It's got to be that safety piece. Depending on your levels of awareness, well, you'll know that part of you, that internal part, does sabotage, take on too much more, like much more than you can handle, take on and make things scary when they're not. Depending on your levels of awareness, you know it's there. You can even acknowledge it. However, challenging it and saying, that's a tree. It's not going to eat me. You know what? The full moon? Sure. It's large and in charge. It's right there. Do the wolves, if you do hear them, are they scared? Sure, that might be a bit fearful. But the moon in itself talks about the divine feminine, the goddess, which has been deemed in popular culture as bad, right? Hence Friday the 13th. Everything scary, we know, comes out at night. Again, checking into that. No, not really. You can have scary at any time of the day. It's just what you allow to keep you contained, confined. And confinement with this moon is not going to be good. It's going to cause that anger and that emotion to really swell and explode. Now, I did say this before. Please be aware, Cancer is a very emotional energy. However, some people will have that emotion come out in tears, which is fine. Some will come out in the form of aggression. Now, depending on what you do with that aggression, it can be fine. If you're angry and acknowledge it, you know what, I need a break. I'm angry with this person. They're frustrating me. I need to step back. But if you explode on them, again, not so good. So be aware of how you deal with that increased emotional energy. Again, using your tools. That's the one piece that this full moon is going to support us with, is very much being aware of how we are and what's currently happening for us, and then being able to build off of it in a very prosperous, successful way. I want to thank you for joining me today and exploring the full wolf moon. Like I've said before, please do not fear it, embrace it, and use this energy to your advantage to help clear out some of this fear, to help get you on the right track. Now, if you did like this session, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what you thought. What are you most excited for the full wolf moon? If you haven't done so, please subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss anything that I post. As 2025, I've got a lot coming forward. If you're looking for an added layer of support, I do have a Patreon page. I've provided a link below, so you can go check it out. I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope that this did set you up for success for the next 5 days. Until tomorrow, my friends.